Just like ours. Makes sense, I suppose. Not like this was his personal room. Feels weird in here. Considering he was murdered, I'd be surprised if you feel comfortable. Well, I mean, I don't like it. Let's just hurry this along. A soft pillow for a sleeping man, and warm sheets. Too warm. I'll just take a look. The sheets don't look disturbed. Was he sleeping on top? Wait, where's his armor? Gear. Was he sleeping in it? Leather is free and easy. I imagine a defender would want his weapons on him, especially while asleep. Fair enough. Slept atop so the sheets wouldn't restrict his movements. That makes sense. Letter and crumbs. Did he have a snack in here? A half-eaten biscuit. Why would it be on the floor? He wasn't a slob. The clean-shaven face and finely combed hair prove it. This candle was new, yet it is partially melted. He didn't fall asleep with it lit, otherwise more would be gone. Also, this inkwell looks only barely touched. Just enough is missing for a bit of writing. And this letter, it's just long enough to match the missing ink and candle wax. Rodrik wrote this last night. He didn't fall asleep immediately. No, this isn't a letter, it's a poem. Don't read it to yourself. Ah, right, of course. Your voice heavenly, casting me down into the depths. Your eyes, olive and soft, stabbing me in the heart. Your tusks smooth, pointing fiercely to my meager self. Your hair scarlet, tussling side to side before me. Your wish fervent, disappearing I shall be. My Brynja with graceful gait, leaving me in shambles before the darkness this late. Intense. Didn't think Rodrik could piss someone off that much. Clearly this person is insane. Perhaps he wrote up a dream. Though, Brynja sounds familiar. Yesterday, we interviewed a man. He spoke wistfully of a Brynja Kelver. Ah, here we are. The sole daughter to Patrick Kelver, the most well-known half-orc in Trunau. Clearly a princess. I'd like to meet her, and now we have an excuse. I'll check around more. Alright, it's my turn. The blood is indeed focused around two areas. The wrists. They are quite dry too, so this happened soon after he headed up. Yet he wrote a poem. Not something a suicidal man would do. Well, that covers the bed and the desk. Check the drawers. Ah, good thinking. But not so useful in practice. I can't control where things are. We have to at least check, don't we? Then you can look around the bed. Perhaps find a monster lurking beneath. I'd more expect one to be leaning over my shoulder, breathing silently, and wondering how much its children will like eating me. Get over it. Sills are rare. Not when I wake up. That was, what, the 4th time you used that specific image? I'll look around the door. Always avoiding the topic. Cham sleeps well. A little squeaky, but not much you can do about that. You think there's a hidden door? Well, there could be a dirty handprint or some hair, maybe a sneeze. Why not check the walls? Fine. I suppose I'll join you on this wild hunt. It doesn't hurt, even if the odds are enormously small. How was the door frame? Find a hidden trap that slashes the wrists? I was searching for forced entry and boot tracks. How insightful, and those tracks must have been really firm after cursed Cham and we stepped on them. Focus on the task at hand. Nothing. A good use of time. Do I need to repeat myself? And you joined me. I was caught up in your energy, a misjudgment on my part. The shock has not yet left me. I could strangle you right now. A dagger to the heart would be preferable. You know, we never asked about the murder weapon. Was it a small knife, dagger, sword? I would presume a dagger. A sword is a little too unwieldy against oneself. Perhaps Cham knows. Oh, come on, we can't bring this up with her. Did you not see how shaken up she was? Cham's a grown halfling, and has survived countless attacks. She can handle a trip down memory lane, and she wasn't that disturbed. I still recall the head pats. She's strong. And the crying, the staring off into the distance, the upset voice. I don't recall her doing any such thing. Best you stop projecting. I'm projecting. You were catatonic, talking to yourself. How you kill this guy? Sounds like you're projecting your own terrible senses. Normal people take notice of the feelings of others. This isn't constructive to our efforts. Cham can tell us what she remembers. And if it's not that much, we can always talk to Kirst again. This isn't a big deal. Hector, you... Ah! One of us has to remain focused. We can't concern ourselves with the temporary discomfort of the living, while Rodrik's spirit is without rest. Oh, really? I've never tried it. How relaxing. Like you just quit your job and feel free for the first time. Overselling just a tad. Oh, good, you have citrus greens. And what about here? Just help yourself, I guess. As a scholar, you must have some good coin on you. Not after that wine tasting. Not to my liking. Too airy. I'll have you know that price was a steal. As new deputies, we're forgiven for past transgressions, no matter how slight. I recall this investigation being unofficial. Who would question run-of-the-mill scholars? We're quite gifted at undercover work. A little late to be squeezing that, don't you think? Ah, pardon. You don't. With Hector, we agree that 2 heads should do it. Indeed. 2 freshly squeezed limes work somehow with the other ingredients. How goes the, you know? We've uncovered a few clues, but need to move on to the interviews for now. So doing what you're best at. Hey, when you drink this, you'll see exactly where my talents lie. We need to speak with you. Oh, now the tea makes sense. I made this on the fly. I was just caught up in you with the conversation and all. I usually plan things just a little bit ahead. So you don't think, and you have experience putting your marks at ease. Though I can't say I'm innocent of such tactics. Caught up in me, you say? Wow, that's actually quite smooth. Well, you'll have some lessons later, once you finish with all this. Of course. It would please me to no end to show you my mastery of herbal teas. On to business. First, let's hear about the discovery. Anything stand out? Kirst came in, said Rodrik didn't show for patrol. We headed up to check on him. Nothing odd there. All the doors were closed and not a sound. I went to unlock... What is it? That's right, the door. It was unlocked. Did he forget? No. Yes. As Hector says, this is impossible. Though not for the reason he thinks. Anywhere else in the world, leaving the door unlocked isn't a big deal, presuming the inn has him in the first place. I was wondering why each door had a simple lock. Well, you are in Drunau. Every single door, window, any opening has a lock of some sort, even if it's just a brace. We take every precaution we can, and Orc has to spend time chopping down the door. We can hide, run, prepare. Here, it's practically a sin not to lock up the moment you walk in. It's a habit we all have. The fact he didn't, he would have. Unless he really did. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This proves foul play. Could just be a thief. I didn't notice any signs of picking. They could be faint, perhaps a master of the trade, or a lucky noob. This info is a good step, though, but not fully solid. Fair. He was just lying there, crimson, pale. I woke up to Kirst gently shaking me. I fainted, so I don't know much more. The body was taken some time later. I just stayed behind the bar, in shock. I can't imagine anyone handling this well. We didn't. Hector nearly fainted himself. You jumped into action to keep him together. This must be hard for you, but we're here to help. I can keep going if you need anything more. Then let's move on. Rather, back. The ceremony was yesterday. It must have been hectic in here, but this may hold a few more clues. Did anything stand out? Tell us about your day. Standard morning. The residents were seated, discussing preparations. There was one thing, though. It still confuses me. A man came in, sat down, ordered an ale, and rented a room. He asked not to be in the registry and pushed 20 gold pieces forward. But that's not the weird part. Excuse me. We get travelers, couples who have spent so much time together that one or the other needs a break. They'll take a room, put themselves under a different name, or in some cases pay for confidentiality. Should the other half show up, clearly their partner isn't here, they're not registered, and I certainly haven't seen them. This is far more common than you'd think. I can't imagine wanting to be away from my love, though if they're not that close, then I guess I can see it. Some people just can't handle too much company for too long, or they change over the years. Well, this isn't the case with him, because not 5 minutes after, he's finishing his drink, and a cloaked woman walks in, beelines right for him, and sits beside. He doesn't even look, puts his arm around her, and she leans right in. This is true love. So he was there to spend time away? No, they were both travelers. Are you sure? I know every single person in town. They weren't from here. Sorry. Please continue. I'm going to need more of this if Hector keeps doubting my word. We need to be certain. You're quite certain when it's your own ideas, but can't trust an innkeep with decades of experience. I have to deal with this all day. At least you have tea. It must be tiring. I can hear you. Good. All right, I get it. As I was saying, Cliff, the two were talking in whispers, but I just happened to catch a bit. Apparently the man already purchased a house in town, and it seems she was here to do something in his stead. I don't know the details, but after their talk, she told me she'd be staying tonight instead. They both left, and I had no idea why he paid for an incognito room when he had a home. Could you describe them? We've met that woman. Spoke with her yesterday, our first interviewee. Man, she was angry and paranoid. How so? She's the reason we thought there was some rift between the half-orcs and everyone else. She said they're mistreated, and the Graff family has been sabotaging them for centuries. Well, but she's not a local. How could she get that idea? What's wrong with these people? We'll ask her ourselves once we find her. Cliff, we have our suspect. God, her words ring so ominously now. Did she stay the night? I don't recall seeing her. Yes, she returned early evening, before you and even the brothers. She kept to herself. I went to make Rodrik's meal. He always drops by after a ceremony. Eats, stays the night, a tradition for himself. What kind of dinner? Well done venison, a small salad, and a biscuit. But I wasn't able to finish it. While cooking, I heard a ruckus, so I went to check. Hildren had... You see, Hildren, June, and Clessy all live here and love setting up tables and varying food for the ceremony. They draw sketches afterwards to improve for next time. It's very exact. Hildren apparently knocked over some ink and ruined them. The three fought and yelled, and I had to break them up. Took a few minutes. Afterwards, I went back into the kitchen, and you had to restart the meal because it burned. That's the thing. It was just fine. By all rights, it should have burnt up. But the meat was well cooked, both sides, and the biscuit was fluffy and warm. Someone must have saved it. Was this woman still at the bar? Yes, after the commotion, I glanced over, and she was in the same place, same posture. There's no way someone didn't finish that food. I agree, but why did they leave? Clearly to avoid getting an earful. Do you really think I'd be so ungrateful? Well, before you realized they were a good person, some stranger was messing with your cooking. All right, I'd be quick to anger. Then a regular is responsible, one who knew to get out of your kitchen. No one else was staying over, and the residents were all together. I don't remember anyone else being there. Strange. You'll keep this in mind. Anyway, I finished up just as Rodrik and Kirst came in. Rodrik, always cheerful, and Kirst nodding in silence. He greets the bruised trio. The woman turns away, but Rodrik is quite audible, so I can understand. She headed up once he sat down. A pity not everyone can enjoy boisterous laughter. Rodrik did his usual thing, catching up in stories, such as how he met the two of you, and his hopes of the truth of Trinau being revealed to all. He had high hopes for your work. I don't plan to disappoint. We'd have to now, for him. After 30 minutes, around the time you came in, his energy was dropping off. I've never seen him get so tired so quickly, but he had a long day and perhaps age was starting to kick in. Humans, am I right? All the more reason to have some tea. Quite. We talk, he heads up. We head up. Did anything happen afterwards? After all this talk and remembering, I do recall one last thing before I went up. Seemed unimportant, but maybe it's of use to you. We're listening. Maybe an hour after you all headed up, I was cleaning in the kitchen when I heard the creaking of a door, opening or closing, I'm not sure. Some minutes passed, then creaking again. Moments later, I heard footsteps on the right staircase, so I came out to see them, but no one was there. The steps had stopped, and all was silent. That wasn't us, and if it were Rodrik, he'd greet you. So it must have been that woman. We don't know that. Someone could have snuck in. I suppose. See, minutes pass between the creaks. Yes. You'll have to see if any of the doors are squeaky. Cliff, we'll be right upstairs if you need us. I'll be here, sipping just a bit more tea. Alright, let's see which of these creak. First you. Nope. Mine. Nope. We know ours are fine. I have to be thorough. Maybe we just didn't notice before. We do have quite a bit of banter. I think I would have noticed. Sure. Rodrik's. Okay, that's one. Mystery Woman's. Nope. Cham's. Locked. Well, I guess that actually makes sense. I don't think we need to check hers, though. Wait, where is she? Cham, no. She. No one's in here. I'll check. Cham, do you know if the cloak woman is still here? I haven't seen her since she headed up this evening. Well, she's gone. I suppose it was in the night or very early morning. Help me search. Right. First, the bed. No impression, no warmth. The sheets haven't been touched. She wasn't here to rest. Maybe she just needed the room for a bit. A writing space? I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions here. But we definitely need to speak with her now. Just to learn why she stayed in the first place, her boyfriend's bribe. This is so very suspicious. You're being just a tad defensive there. A murder accusation is no small thing, especially if someone overhears and word spreads. The desk. Hair, just over shoulder length, brown. Wasn't her hair black or grayish? Indeed. Either she had another in here without Cham's knowing, not a chance, not with those tuned ears of hers, or her hair was fake. Or was just in here before yesterday. We don't know who used this last, when it was cleaned. Yeah, I'll go ask. Perhaps there are more on the floor. Nothing. Not even dust or boot scrapes. She says it hasn't been used in days, and that she cleans them quite regularly. In an annoyed voice, perhaps you should have had faith in her ability as an innkeep. I don't want to hear that from you. Then get on your knees and search under the bed. A scale? This is a snake scale, constrictor. Big enough to wrap around your legs. Why do you have to give me these images? So she had a pet. Rodrik wasn't poisoned and he wasn't bitten, as far as we know. We'll have to check him. Let's eat something first. Some fruit? I suppose. Find anything? A bit. This woman is certainly someone we have to meet. Right. Cham, do you know of a Brynja Kelva? Of course, she is the daughter of one of the most good-natured men in town, Patrick Kelva. They're the second most influential family of Trenow. So she is a princess. No, she's just a woman, like the rest of us. Princess is quite a jump. What exactly do you see in her that brings up the idea of a princess? Well, it's not like the Graffs have a daughter, right? Well, not anymore, they don't. Oh, no, it's not that, but it's... Alright, look. This generation of the Graffs see 3 adults. A son, Rodrik, a younger son, Kirst, and a daughter, the youngest of all, Malira. A few years ago, Malira up and left, ran off with a traveling alchemist. Her departure was chagrin. Her father was not respectful. He disowned her and labeled her an exile. We've not seen or heard anything since. The brothers were disappointed, though Kirst wasn't terribly surprised. I suspect he knows why she left, but I'm not one to pry. Except eavesdropping. If you're going to have a secret, best to talk in private. Anyone who doesn't realize this has only themselves to blame. Having said that, why did you ask about her? It seems Rodrik pissed her off something fierce. He even wrote a poem about it. Oh, so this is the young lady who took his heart. You knew. A lady can always tell. Oh, it's fine. Besides, if things didn't work out, you could just slip in. Yes, it's fine. Where can we find her? Head to the top of Bloodmarch Hill. Turn right, follow the curve southwest, and their home will be second to last. We'll do her after the others. Then we're off to the church to see him. We'll have to check the actual wounds, and if any evidence remains. Perhaps Cliff should do it, or have Tiari help. I can handle it. I'll be beside him the entire time. Where is this place? It's called Sanctuary. You would have seen it on the way in. Left at the fork, the white building. It's a church to Iomide, Tiari residing as the head priestess. They're from Lastwall. We don't really go there, and they seem more loyal to Lastwall than to us. Then how do you do funerals? We store the bodies there, but we hold a pyre. You see, there's no cemetery here. The orcs would dig up the bodies and desecrate them. So we have a friendly relationship, but not the strongest. Well, we're travelers, so should be more receptive to us. Perhaps bring up Lastwall's history and their heroics. Whatever you need to do. First, though, we were going to have some fruit. Ah, of course. I'll fetch something. No, it's... Alright, this is my job. I must get back to it. She's stronger than I. I can barely think of food. Then have some tea.